My name's Becki Bennett. I'm a senior lecturer in bioethics. That's within the School of Law, but I'm actually a philosopher there. I really liked science at school. I was quite good at science and I found it really interesting. And I also liked things like debating, where we had to argue about things. And I guess what happens is, with what I do, is those two things come together. So I did a degree in philosophy and I found it quite difficult at first because they were talking about whether tables were really there and whether trees make noises in a forest and all that kind of stuff. And then we moved on to medical ethics and we started talking about whether we should use embryos for experimentation, whether euthanasia should be allowed. And philosophy then became a bit more alive and a bit more important. Doing what I do, we're very interested in issues around the use of embryos, and stem cell research involves the destruction of embryos, and that's the big ethical issue that's concerned with stem cell research and therapy. So we would be very interested in working with scientists, talking to our students, even talking to the media about these issues. The key issue is about what we think the value of that embryo is, and whether we think that embryo has some sort of right to life. So that's the key issue, and where you stand on that issue will determine how you feel about using embryos in this way for experimentation, where they destroy, or even your position on abortion or IVF, where embryos are often destroyed in IVF. Stem cell research, you're talking about under 14 days. The embryo isn't something that has any self-awareness, it doesn't value its own life. So in terms of its own intrinsic worth, if we destroy it, the embryo itself isn't harmed by that destruction. It may be that other people who value that embryo may feel that they are harmed by its destruction, but because it doesn't have any sense of its own life, we don't actually harm that embryo by destroying it. And for me, that means that we should be able to do things like stem cell research and even allow abortions, because we're weighing one thing against the other, and helping other people or allowing women control over their lives is more important than not destroying this entity that can't actually value its own life anyway at this stage in its development.